everyone, and thank you for being here today. My name is Lambrini, and I'm here to talk to you about how policies are creating an enabling environment for the CDR sector by providing market certainty, regulatory clarity, and driving demand for CDR. A well-defined policy framework helps anticipate future regulatory requirements and prepare for potential compliance obligations, allowing market actors to operate with confidence while ensuring that CDR credits are high quality and transparently communicated to consumers. With an increasing number of legislative efforts focused on or encompassing carbon removals, now is a pivotal time to engage in this growing sector. I will first walk you through the key EU-level policy developments. The EU is at the forefront of climate leadership, implementing several key policies that will shape the future of the CDR sector. First off, we have the Carbon Removal Certification Framework, or the CRCF, which is a foundational piece of legislation. It sets EU-wide standards of what constitutes a high-quality carbon removal activity, considering sustainability, durability, and monitoring requirements. It is designed to address concerns over potentially low-quality voluntary carbon market credits, and it aims to boost confidence among buyers and countries engaging with removals. The CRCF credits can have multiple use cases. Corporates will be able to buy these credits to make claims, and governments can launch state subsidy calls or procurement opportunities. The first CRCF credits are expected to become operational next year, and they will initially cover DECs, PECs, and biochar. But the European Commission is already looking at expanding this scope and including other CDR methods, such as enhanced rock weathering and marine CDR. Then we have the upcoming revision of the EU climate law. Currently, the EU has a binding target of reducing emissions by at least 55% by 2030 and to achieve climate neutrality by 2050. The climate law also commits the EU to negative emissions post-2050. And to keep the EU aligned with these goals, the Commission is required to set an interim target for 2040, for which they are looking to propose a 90% net emission reduction target. This revision of the climate law is also expected to include language that recognizes permanent CDR's role in the EU's climate targets, boosting regulatory and market confidence. Furthermore, the package of legislative measures due next year, which is aimed at implementing this 2040 target, is expected to cover incentives for scaling permanent CDR. Another EU policy file that can drive demand for our sector is the Green Claims Directive, which looks at how climate and environment claims made by companies should be substantiated. It aims to enhance trust and transparency in corporate climate claims and to tackle greenwashing. This file is still being negotiated, but the directive has the potential to build confidence in the voluntary carbon market and to provide clarity for buyers engaging with carbon credits. The last EU policy I wanted to touch on is a potential compliance market for CDR. The European Commission is currently assessing whether and how to integrate permanent removals into the EU's emissions trading scheme. They are mandated to come forward with a legislative proposal on this by next summer. The EU is also looking at other types of compliance mechanisms, such as setting up a removal trading scheme, for instance. Now we can move on to the next slide, which covers the international policy developments that are also driving demand for permanent CDR. On the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change, we had a lot of important decisions adopted last year at COP29. And these decisions have been in the making for about a decade, and they concern Article 6 of the Paris Agreement, which allows voluntary international cooperation on climate goals. Article 6.2 allows for bilateral or multilateral cooperation, including on durable CDR, and we are already seeing a number of countries engaging with this mechanism. And Article 6.4 supports countries in generating and trading carbon credits from climate projects to meet their nationally determined contributions. This is a highly significant development. While Article 6 is still in the early stages of operationalization, it is expected to enhance global cooperation on durable CDR. Another important potential demand driver for the CDR industry is the Science Based Targets Initiative's Net Zero Standard, which is currently undergoing a major revision. The SBTi Net Zero Standard is the rulebook by which thousands of companies are setting their climate goals. Already in the current form of the Net Zero Standard, companies are obliged to neutralize their residual emissions with permanent removals by the net zero year. But the SBTi has realized that they need to incentivize CDR well before this net zero point. Otherwise, there is a growing concern that demand for removals will far exceed supply from 2040 onwards. To address this concern, the upcoming revision of the Net Zero Standard is looking at creating either voluntary or obligatory interim removal targets, so that companies are incentivized to start buying removals well before the net zero year, and to build up a supply over time. This is an important shift that could strengthen corporate commitments to durable CDR. Finally, we have the International Organization for Standardization that is also currently drafting a net zero standard, which will provide clarity on the net zero transition. The standard is expected to include guardrails and requirements on CDR and the claims made based on the purchase of CDR credits. To summarize, as you can see, the policy landscape for carbon removals is rapidly evolving, creating a more stable and transparent environment for investment. With significant regulatory developments at both the EU and the international level, demand for high-quality carbon removals is set to increase. So this is an exciting time to be engaging in this sector as policy frameworks provide confidence and drive market growth. Thank you for your attention.